Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome. My name is Lee Cara. This is Unleash Your Light right here at the Akashic Academy. It is Thursday morning at 10 a.m. here on the East Coast of the United States. I don't know where you are, but I hope you are having a beautiful morning and that your week has been going smoothly. I know we had a full moon a little bit earlier in the week, so those are always nice. They always give you kind of an interesting experience for the week, right? I'm going to take just a moment and make sure that we are live. I'm going to invite a few of my friends. I hope you'll take a moment and invite a few of your friends. We have a great show today. I'm going to be talking about unconditional love. Good morning, Heather. Welcome. I'm going to be talking about unconditional love. And I have to say, it's one of my very favorite topics. Good morning, Nancy. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, good morning, Samantha. Hi, Rena. It is one of my very favorite topics, unconditional love. And I don't know, I really feel connected to this in such a strong way. And we're going to start just like I just did the whole Unleash Your Light steps, right? Unleash Your Light is all about overcoming the obstacles, those emotional obstacles that get in the way between us, our human, and our absolutely amazing, like that divinity, right? That part of us that's connected to the universe. Because all that stuff that happens to us in our life, all that emotional stuff can really get in the way of us embracing our divinity. And the one thing that always is that block. Hi, Christy. Welcome. Hi, Lisa. We share a government name, by the way. The one thing that is the block, the one thing is always unconditional love of self that keeps us from embracing that divinity that dwells within each of us. That is the thing that holds us back. So, that's not quite where we're going today, only because I want to start at the very beginning. Just like I did with the steps in Unleash Your Light, which are so like the simple things, you're not alone, be nice to others, be nice to yourself, forgive yourself and others, set your mind, ignore your feelings, have faith. Good morning, Mandy, welcome. All these really simple things. Good morning, Jeannie. All the simple stuff that seems like they're no-brainers. And yet as we go through our daily lives, we don't realize how important they are, how intrinsic they are to intertwining that with that divinity that's inside of us, and how integral they are to combining those two things. Because when we can combine that God energy, higher energy, yay, Kelly, the babies are asleep. Turn the volume down. I get loud. When we can combine whatever you like to call that higher power, that energy within us, I always refer to it as the light or the divinity. When you can combine that with your human, when you embrace the two together, that's where your magic happens. But to do that, you have to fully accept that you are worthy of it. I talked about this last week on the show, Have Faith. I touched on it a little bit here on the Academy, but when I sat down on the couch, I really went into it. And what I basically summed up in that show was that when we embrace that worthiness, that unconditional love, when we truly believe that we are worthy to embrace the divinity within us, that is the I am. Thanks, Teresa. That is the I am. Because that's you saying, I am worthy of this God energy. Hi, Rebecca. That's you saying, I am worthy of everything that the universe wants for me. That's unconditional love of self. No matter that I've done bad things. No matter that, I don't have the right job, the right money, the right person. No matter that, I think I'm horrible. I still deserve the divinity that's inside of me, the God energy that dwells within, the abundance that can be mine, or that already is mine, that I only have to accept. So when we do that, that is the I am energy. Hi, Patty, welcome. And the I am energy is within every belief system. It is that energy that they constantly say is the God energy, is that I am, right? Good morning, Alicia. Welcome. So that's what we're going to talk about today, but we're going to start right at the beginning. We're not even going to jump too deeply into the love of self yet, which is my very favorite thing to talk about. That and forgiving are the two things that I just think are the most transformative things that you can do for yourself. There's a million things you can do on this path towards spirituality. There's a million different practices, and whatever you choose, good for you. You pick whatever path you want. You pick whatever path you want. Whatever feels right for you, believe whatever you want. Join the Galactic Federation of Light, do sacred geometry, be a shaman, become a pagan, do Wiccan rituals. It does not matter. They all depend on your human being right with itself. They all depend on unconditional love of self and forgiveness and empathy for others. And so all of these things that I talk about, oh, Nancy, good. This is perfect then. Thanks, Alicia. I'm sorry I missed Tuesday, you guys. I had such a transformative experience this week. It was terrible and wonderful at the same time. And Tuesday, I took some self-healing stuff. And when I sit down on the couch today after the show at 10:30, I sit down on my own couch and chat about it. So I get real informal and talk more about my personal transformation. So those of you who want to follow me over there, you're certainly welcome to. And we will definitely, I'll chat about it. And it was really horrible and wonderful and a learning thing. And the bad things that we go through are sometimes the most beautiful learning experiences. And I had to pat myself on the back. And even though it's really terrible, it's really wonderful at the same time. So, so this is what we're going to be talking about. Is we're going to start at unconditional love. Now, just a little thing here. Last week, I kept changing these. See this where it says unleash your light right there. Ding. Last week, I changed this little thing like 100 times during the show to say different stuff. But the only thing it said during the whole show was my name when I went back and watched it. So Be Live made me look like an incredible narcissist who only posts her own name on the show. So now I'm thinking I shouldn't change that at all, but let's do this. I'm going to change it to unconditional love. If it doesn't say unconditional love, I guess it'll still say unleash your light, but this is what we're going to talk about today is unconditional love. So what is unconditional love? What is unconditional love? Love has a lot of different connotations. It has a lot of different meanings. We in our society have attached so much to the word love. We've given it so many meanings, right? It's the love we have for our family. It's the love. Did you really? Rena, oh my goodness. Hi, Nikki, welcome. Right, we think that love is like Romeo and Juliet. We think of romantic love. We think love is a highway. I'm going to ride it all night long. You know, groove is in the heart. There's like a million different things. We write sonnets about love. We write movies about love. We write stories about love. You know, there have been just these timeless epics written for love. And yet, when we actually fall for someone, our relationships, when we actually have family love, our relationships with them are fraught with conditions. Hi, Renee, welcome. They're fraught with conditions. I will love you if you treat me with respect. I will love you if you buy me flowers on our anniversary. I will love you if you make enough money to support us. I will love you if you act this way, if you like what I like, if you talk the way I want you to talk, if you stay this size the whole time we're married. I will love you if you make me happy. If you don't make me happy, I'm out of here. Right? We have created love that means I'm in love when you make me happy. That's not love. It's a version of love. It's a version of love. I'm not saying that doesn't mean that you don't love the other person. But to have a relationship where your happiness is dependent on the other person making you happy is not a relationship. Unconditional love means literally love without conditions. It means you don't have a list of demands in the relationship, whether that's with your parents, with your children, with your spouse, with your friends, with your people at your work, no matter what the relationship is. It's not a list of conditions that once they fulfill them, you will go ahead and love them. Right? Now, I'm not saying that there shouldn't be boundaries. And I'm not saying that anything goes. There's a difference between unconditional love and love where you have to step out of a relationship. I'm not saying you should take abuse. I'm not even saying that you should be in a relationship where you don't feel respected or a friendship where you feel taken advantage of. But what I am saying is that you loving them shouldn't have anything to do with that. It's like this. Think of it this way. When your children do something wrong, children, small children, do something wrong, do you still love them when they do something wrong? You don't say, I will only love you if you don't make a mess. When you make a mess, I'm going to stop loving you. Right? No. We start out loving our children unconditionally. And even when they make a mess, we might get angry. We might want to yell at them, or however we discipline our children, or however our relationship with them is. But we still love them. And as people get older, it becomes more complicated. Hi, Linda, welcome. Because the things that people do and the relationships that we have become more complicated, right? So as they become more complicated, it becomes a lot easier to put conditions on them. And when somebody upsets us or crosses one of our lines, we can go, meh, guess what? I'm done and I don't love you anymore. Is that really what you mean? Or do you mean you've hurt me and I'm not going to be vulnerable to you anymore? Or did you not really love them in the first place? Did you not really open your heart to them in a way that you had unconditional love for them? Unconditional love is something that we should be trying to have for every person in every moment of our life that we run into. Because we are connected to every person in every moment of our life that we run into. Unconditional love has nothing to do with a relationship. It's nothing to do with family. Has nothing to do with friends. Although we should definitely be trying to practice unconditional love in those relationships, we should also be trying to practice it in our everyday life. And it is not an easy thing because people do not make it easy. Just like I talked about in the second show that we did, be nice to others. Some people do not make it easy to be nice to them. And vice versa. Sometimes we don't make it easy for other people to be nice to us because life can be difficult and everyone has hard days, you know? And I'm not saying go through life like a Pollyanna with a hippie rose in your hand and, you know, giving them out everywhere you go. But having unconditional love for everyone you meet means having a heart of kindness, having a heart of understanding, having a heart of empathy and forgiveness immediately, without an explanation, without needing to know why somebody is acting a particular way. Just understanding that they are. When you go through the cash register at the store, I don't go a lot of places, so I use this example a lot, and the cashier is rude. You might get angry. You might want to be rude back. But you don't know what's going on in that person's life. You don't know what her day was like or his day was like. You don't know what's going on. So exercising that unconditional love by being kind, by extending that energy of embrace, even without saying a word, because I understand, is a beautiful thing. And what that does every time you use it is it expands your light. As you are doing for others, you are doing for yourself, because they are a reflection of you. And you are a reflection of them. So as you show them kindness, they will start to shine. And you will start to shine. And your light will start to be cleaned off a little bit. And I know it sounds like a very simple thing, but it is transformative to do this on a regular basis throughout the day. Good morning, Teresa. It is transformative to do this on a regular basis, but it's like a muscle and it just needs to be practiced. It's like a muscle and all you have to do is use it on the regular. Use it throughout your day. Even when there's no one around, a car cuts you off. What's your first instinct? That you start to get mad. You might start to curse in your car. Maybe you're a road rage person and you're in your car cursing and yelling, and you ever drive by someone and they're having an argument in their car and there's nobody else in the car with them. Maybe you're that person who's in the car yelling and screaming at the other cars. How about instead of having an argument, you just let it go? Who cares? They can't hear you. And a part of you is thinking, I'm getting this out now. I'm getting it out of my system. No. You're adding fuel to the fire. You're adding fuel to the fire. How about you practice throwing water on the fire? Instead of encouraging that rage to come out, figure out why it bothers you so much that somebody cut you off. Does it have to do with respect that you didn't get at some point? Start asking yourself questions. Why does not being respected bother me to the point that I'm going to scream and yell alone in my car like a crazy person? Maybe use that time for inner reflection while you drive. Extend to that person who cut you off a thought, a blessing. Oh my God, that was almost an accident. If they do that wrong, they could die. I hope they don't die. That would be really terrible for someone to die. Empathy. You don't know that person, but you are connected to that person because they are connected to you, because we're all connected to each other. And I know this might sound all a little woo-woo, hippie, whatnot, but this is kind of the basis of how we come together as a community so that we stop hurting each other, so that we can garner peace, so that those of us who are light workers, if you want to call yourself that, those of us who are the awakened, those of us who are here at the Akashic Academy, this beautiful place that Emily and Nick have brought together for us, so that we can make the change, so we can be the change. The way to be the change is to actually be the change. And these are the simple ways to do it. Oh, thanks, Nancy. Yes, Kelly, I have great, amazing conversations in the car, and my guides will come through in the car. I had an entire 2 months where a friend of mine who passed away would ride in the car with me every single morning and hold my hand and talk to me. And it was one of the most beautiful experiences of my life. These moments that we can have when you take that heart that we have been taught to protect, when you embrace unconditional love, the shell starts to crack open. The shell that we have built, these walls that we have created around our heart for protection, those walls keep us trapped. And when you start to crack those away, to extend that love outward, do you know what happens? That love comes back to you. That love comes back to you too, and you start to feel it in a way that is transformational. Everybody hold Rena's hand right now. She needs someone to hold her hand. We'll all hold Rena's hand. That love is transformational. Our human forms and the love we receive from other human forms is like the universe giving us a hug. It's like the universe showing us unconditional love in the form of other humans. When we show unconditional love to another human, it's like we are the conduit for that energy. We are the conduit for that energy to show its love to this other person. And maybe you are being used for a divine purpose just to be kind to that person. Maybe that person needs you in that moment to show them unconditional love, even if they were terrible to you, even if they were rude to you, even if they were just horrible. Maybe they need you to show them unconditional love. When we can practice unconditional love in our everyday life, in the things that we do, in our just normal stuff, it will begin to transform you from the inside out. And this is not even hard stuff. This is not even me trying to convince you of anything that you're not already doing. You know, you already have to go and get gas. You already have to go to work. You already have to go to the store or deal with the people at the school or, you know, whatever it is. You already do all this stuff. Just shift your perspective about how you're doing it and see every interaction as an opportunity to allow the universe to share its energy, to share unconditional love with that person that you're interacting with. Because maybe you're meant to be a conduit for them. And you, in that one interaction, can be planting a seed for them that can grow a beautiful experience, a beautiful transformation for them. We don't know when somebody walks away how we've changed their life. We don't. We have no idea. I have young ladies that I worked with back in the 90s, and I worked in restaurants always. So I worked with a lot of 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds. And, you know, I was a little bit older back then, not a lot, but I already had kids. And, I had a lot of experiences, hi, Jennifer, where I would try to be kind to them and I would try to take them under my wing, and they would be complaining about their moms and, oh, I'm grounded or I didn't get good grades. And I would be trying to say to them, something nice or something kind. And I wasn't awakened back then, but I did try to be a nice person and stay positive, even though I was on the inside miserable. And years later, they would say to me that, you made a difference. You made a difference in my life. You changed my life. I have one of them that still to this day calls me mom. She calls me mom. I took her into my house for like 2 months, and she still calls me mom to this day. We don't know how we affect someone's life with just a kind word. Just by expressing this energy of unconditional love. Because we don't base what we do, our interaction, on what they give us. We only base it on the fact that love has no conditions. Now, like I said, I'm not saying in relationships that you shouldn't have boundaries, that you shouldn't have, that's a whole other discussion. And we will definitely talk about that. And I think that that's probably going to be one of the topics coming up, because unconditional love deserves many shows. This was literally just the intro, and I only have half an hour here, and I'm already pushing up on it as usual because I just did. But I love this topic. So what we're going to talk about for unconditional love for the next couple of weeks, we're going to talk about unconditional love in relationships. We're talking about unconditional love of self. We're going to spend many shows on unconditional love of self and how can you do that? And what are the different things that keep us from loving ourselves unconditionally? And what is that journey like to finally embrace loving yourself unconditionally? What is it even like? Because some people, myself, I include myself, I did not love myself. I didn't even like myself for a long time. I was a cutter. I hated myself. I said F you in the mirror every single day. What does it even feel like to look in the mirror and smile and like what you see? And not like what you see because you see something that the world would see as beautiful, but like what you see because you truly love yourself. To be able to look yourself in the eye and say, I love you. I'm so proud of you. I support you 100%. And there are people who can't do that. There are many of us who can't. I couldn't do it for years. And it takes a lot of practice. But I'm with you, and we're going to do it together. And that's why this Akashic Academy is so great, because it brings us together. Yes, it does feel like home, and you don't realize how much you missed it until it comes together. Jennifer, I love that, because I believe that these messages come in waves, and we don't all watch each other all the time, and yet it will ting, ting, ting. I'll be talking about it, and then someone else will talk about it, and then the next day there'll be someone else and someone else and someone else. The divine, that energy gives us these messages in waves. Like there'll be a whole bunch of us that talk about forgiveness over a week's period. We're not all watching each other. We're not all watching, I don't watch everybody who's on. And yet I'll start, as I'm flipping through over the week, I'll be like, oh my God, that person had just talked about this too. Oh, I just talked about this the other day. Oh, they just talked about this. Oh, so it's like a wave. They're like steps. I feel like they're like steps that we have to go up. Like they're watching and they're saying, all right, they need a little more help in this area. We're going to send all these people a message that they need to talk about unconditional love. And then all these people talk about it to their tribes, because each of the tribes needs to get the message in a different way. It's really interesting. I think it's so fascinating. And once again, here I am, I'm pushing up on my time. Okay, so I don't know if the picture is going to change the words. Like I said last week, the words did not change. So I don't know if that says unconditional love or if it says unleash your light. But this is where you can find me, unleashyourlight.org. I have original music there. You can get both copies of my new book, are my books. I have the Unleash Your Light book that covers the steps that we just finished last week here at the Akashic Academy. It also has my book, Simple Spirituality of Self, which talks all about, oh, it only says unconditional love, so it didn't change. It's unleashyourlight.org. I'll go back into the comments and write it in. So crazy, right? It talks all about loving yourself unconditionally. It's called Simple Spirituality of Self. I have 2 groups on Facebook, a group and a page, both called Unleash Your Light. You can friend me, Lee Cara, Licara. I'm the only Lee Cara on Facebook, I think, out of 2 billion people. This is the public page for the Akashic Records. Oh, it's changing. Okay, good. This is the Akashic page. This is the public page for the Akashic Records. But there is a secret page. And if you want more information on the secret page, on joining that secret group, there is good stuff going on in there. And let me tell you, there's so much planned. They're doing a big overhaul of that. And there is such good stuff in there. And Coach Nick does mindful meditations, and he does extra shows in there. You have more access with Emily. She does guided meditations. She's doing channeling, and it's really good stuff. It's $11.11 a month to get into the secret group, or you can do $100 a year and save yourself like 30 something bucks. I'm not good with math. So if you go to askyourrecords.com, it's got more information there. But you know what else you can do there is you can get a copy of the magazine. The magazine this month has an article from me about unconditional love of yourself. And you can also sign up for the newsletter, and Emily will send you something about once a week about what's coming up and what's going on. And she's really funny and she writes really well. And it's not a whole bunch of junk. It's just Akashic Academy. It's just about what's going on with us here. So that's always a lot of fun. I am here on Thursdays at 10 a.m. right here in the public page of the Akashic Academy. And with my show, Unleash Your Light. Right now, I am going to go sit on my couch. If my name is up there, Lee Cara, you can type in my name. You can go find me on Facebook. I'm going to talk about this for a little bit longer. I'm going to talk about the transformation that I personally had this week, which was so big. I needed to do some self-care. Those of you who watch me, I skipped my little show that I do on Tuesdays because I also do Unleash Your Light for an hour on Tuesdays. And, but I needed to. It made me physically ill, what I went through, but it was big. And I came out the other side, and I'm patting myself on the back. I'm very proud of myself. So I love every single one of you. I'm so grateful to be here. Once again, this is Unleash Your Light. I'm so thrilled to have you guys here. Tune in later today. Rena is going to be on with the Rainbow Bridge right around noonish. And I believe that Andrea Stepnowski is back on schedule. I'm not really sure, but I think that Andrea is back on schedule for tonight at 7. She does Sacred Flow, talks about the chakras and crystals and all that kind of good stuff. All right, you guys, we always have great stuff here at the Akashic Academy. I love you guys so much. Mwah. I hope you have a fabulous weekend, everybody. Thank you so much.